Was so powerful.
Cooperatives offered another avenue of economic self-reliance.
We think about slavery as an economic institution. You can see why it would be very easy and seem like common sense to many African Americans to form economic cooperatives that actually go against the grain of that hyper-individualistic, exploitative capitalism, because they and their families and their friends had been debased by that kind of capitalism. And you see figures from Du Bois to Ella Baker to Ida B. Wells and others calling for African Americans to not turn their backs on trying to build wealth, but to do it in a different way, a way that would not be so exploitative. In Oklahoma, this section of Tulsa that had lots of African American owned businesses, and people like to call it the Black Wall Street of the Midwest. Well, Wall Street has this connotation of hyper-capitalism, making money, getting a good return on your investment. But obviously, the people who put together what we call Black Wall Street in hindsight were working together the whole time. It's not that they were trying to leverage futures or something like this. They were bringing people together, creating credit unions, grocery stores, small businesses that they knew people in their neighborhood would frequent, and they also knew were under siege. And unfortunately, in this case, that came true with a white race riot that just completely destroyed that part of town. Many people have started to talk again about the history of the Southern Tenant Farmers Union, which brought sharecroppers together to pool their resources and try to get better ways of selling their crops and getting fair prices, as well as fair rent on the lands that they worked. So these spaces we usually think of as places where people are just hiding and scared and waiting for the civil rights movement decades from now to happen. But actually, if we look at this history very closely, we can see people across the country banding together and trying to make a better life by using these cooperative entities to leverage the power of the group.
The strong history of African American labor unions offers yet another example of effectively engaging in economic systems.
People know what a union is in terms of laborers negotiating with management. However, the Brotherhood of Sleeping Car Porters, which is one of the most important labor organizations founded by African Americans, also had a ladies' auxiliary. And those two organizations, the Brotherhood of Sleeping Car Porters and their Ladies Auxiliary, created cooperative economic institutions, including grocery stores and credit unions, to help members and their communities become economically stronger. We don't want to romanticize the kind of self-reliance efforts that occurred during the Jim Crow or slavery past. People making pretty bold statements about how Jim Crow helped keep Black people together. I think that's a very dangerous path to go down. However, I think it is important for us to relearn or learn for the first time a lot of the stories of African American community cooperative.